Hi everybody, my name is Erin and I'm here on the Waiting Moose BookTube channel. I want to do the Newbie Book Tag today and I just want to basically introduce myself to all of you. I am a new BookTube participant. I've posted one video up until now, so I thought it was a good time to introduce myself. So I'll start out. I've got the questions on my phone, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. Why did I start the BookTube channel? I wanted to have a better conversation with people about books. I have been a member of Goodreads for a long time, and it's been a great way for me to see other people's book reviews and meet people in the groups, but I've always felt a little bit distanced from it. I don't know, it's maybe because you never really see people, and a lot of people have just a fake avatar of themselves up there. So I find that it's very distancing, and while I love reading people's reviews and getting to know people on there, I think my time watching BookTube videos has made me want to be a part of this community and to contribute to this community in a meaningful way. So that's why I started the BookTube channel, and what are some fun and unique things I can bring to BookTube. The biggest thing is probably going to be the wide variety of books and genres that I read. I read everything. I'll get to that later when I talk about how I got started, what kind of books I read. But I read everything I can get my hands on, and I think that, or I hope that I can maybe give you guys some suggestions for books that you wouldn't normally have read or wouldn't have even thought of reading because they were a different genre, but that might interest you. Or it might help you decide not to read some books. What am I most excited about for this channel is getting to know everyone. This isn't really about me, it's about sharing my ideas with all of you and maybe having some sort of conversation about books. And I'm most excited about the community and just being a productive member of it. Why do I love reading? I love reading because it's an escape, but it's more than escape. When I pick up a book, I pick up this How I Spent My Summer Holidays by W.O. Mitchell. It gives me the opportunity to see life and society and the world through the eyes of that author. Now this book was published, like, good Lord, this book was published in 1982. So not only that, but I get just that snapshot in time of when this author wrote this book, what was going on and what he thought. Fantasy, you can escape to these different worlds. You can be a part of someone's amazing imagination, even if it is just for an extremely short period of time. There's so much. It's just reading. I love being taken away and being able to visit places that I would not normally have been able to visit, or wouldn't, at least not at that time, been able to visit and learn about. And I like being exposed to how other people view the world and how other people see how the world can be or how it could be changed. What book or series got me into reading? This one is an interesting question. My mom was a teacher, so she was big on books for me. She got me started with the Chronicles of Narnia. A lot of kids my age come up with that answer, It was like the Harry Potter of old people. And I feel old. She also bought me, when I got to be a teenager, I got The Girls of Canby Hall, which was a young adult series with characters at boarding school. And Nancy Drew books. I loved Nancy Drew, loved the Hardy Boys, loved Sweet Valley High, Couples, the teen romance books, Harlequins. But my grandma would go, and on weekends, she would go garage selling. I don't know where she went to garage sales, because I've never found garage sales like this, but she would come home with boxes of books, of used books. And I would go and I would pick through them. And anyway, learn about all these different books and genres, and there was classics like Daphne du Maurier, and there was Sidney Sheldon, and there was Louis L'Amour. So there was all these different books. And it was just amazing, the vast variety of books and genres I was exposed to as a young girl. But there's two books that really stand out to me, and I'm not sure if I got these through school book sales or where exactly I got them from. But one was called Kindred Spirit, which it's a book that still sticks with me because when I was growing up, I lived in a small town and people named Aaron were boys. They weren't girls. I was the only girl named Aaron. And while I'm really glad that I wasn't one of the 10 Jens or Nikki or Nicole's or whatever the common name was of the time, it also really sucked having what most people considered to be a boy's name. So this book, The Kindred Spirit, had a main character whose name was Erin, and she was a girl, and it was awesome. So it was a book about twins, basically, that were separated at birth, and it was a really interesting book. It was awesome. I loved it. You'll probably never find it now. I'm sure it's way out of print. And the other book that I remember from when I was younger, like these are books that stand out, where it was this book called The Girl with the Silver Eyes, and it was sort of a, back in the 60s or 70s, people were taking drugs that weren't necessarily completely tested for their side effects, especially on pregnant women. So this girl was in her teens and she had special abilities. She could move things with her mind. And I can't remember if she could read people's thoughts, but I know she could move objects with her mind. And so she was different. She had silver eyes. That was what defined her as this different person, or this having these special abilities. And it was really interesting because she went through life like being different, but then she found a group of other people that were the same as her. And it turned out that her special abilities in the silver eyes were because her mom, when she was pregnant with the main character of the book, she took this drug that really was, I feel like it was thalidomide or something like that, but it gave these kids these special abilities. So the spoiler alert, but you're never going to find the book anyway. So it was these two books that really stand out to me. Those are two books that I absolutely loved when I was young, and I would absolutely read again if I ever found them. I think I'd have a heart attack if I ever found them. I kept the one for a very, very long time. I was in my 20s before I got rid of Kindred Spirit. What questions would I ask my favorite booktubers? How do you choose between reading series that you've already started or books that you marked as to read and haven't read yet, and new releases? Because I find I've got so many books I want to read, and this year I set two very conflicting goals. I had one goal to read a bunch of new stuff, because when the Goodreads survey came out at the end of the year, I wanted to have read more books so that I wasn't voting for the one book on the list I'd read. But that didn't happen this year. I think there was only fantasy was the only genre where I'd read more than one book. So that was kind of disappointing because my other goal for the year it was called Finish What You Started, and it took all the series that you've started reading and you tried to finish them off. And I've started probably hundreds of series. There's hundreds of books outstanding in series for me right now. And I spent too much time, I think, trying to get caught up on all these series that I neglected to read new releases. So I don't understand how you can be happy with what you've read and what you've got outstanding on your to-be read list. My to-be read list, too big. What challenges do I think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? My fear. I have a real fear of putting myself out there. My first video, which I put up today, is my summer book haul, and just so you know, it's November, so it's getting close to mid-November, and I finally posted these are the books I bought in the summer book haul, because I filmed it. I waited, I think I filmed it twice because I didn't like the first time, and then it got edited, and then even after I edited it, I was so scared to put it out there because there's two fears. What if no one watches it? And what if I get mean comments? But I know that the booktube community is so supportive and so awesome that I finally managed to post it, and hopefully someday, in the next few days, I'll be able to post this video as well. When did I start reading? I started reading when I was a kid, like 5 years old. I've read, like I said, everything I can get my hands on. I couldn't remember all of the books that I read when I started Goodreads, and even now I still read like ridiculous amounts of everything. If there's a book there, I will grab it and pick it up and read. Where do I read? Typically, I've got two places I read. I read at home, and I read on my commute on my way to work. My commute to work is an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon. So I've got a very long time with earbuds in my ears and audiobooks. I've read well over 100 audiobooks, listened to well over 100 audiobooks this year. but I also read at home. I love books. So when I'm at home, I used to read in my bedroom because I'm married and I have a cat and a dog, and my husband likes to watch TV, and the TV is it's on the same floor. It's an open plan as everything. It's on the main floor, right? So there's the TV, there's the couch, there's everything on the main floor. So I've always been kind of stuck reading in my bedroom, or if I'm at home alone, I'll read on the couch. I'm trying to make this my reading space. So I've got my bookshelf behind me. I've got a table here for beverages. I've got this lovely chair that's actually a recliner, and I've got a quilt, lovely warm quilt I can cover myself up with if I'm cold, which I am today. My feet are freezing. I probably should put socks on. It is November. So this is where I'm hoping to start reading more. And finally, what kind of books do I like to read? I read everything. So my grandma, all these books, I've read just numerous authors. I read fantasy. My favorites, let's start with my favorites. I think my favorites are mysteries. I like murder mysteries and thrillers and suspense. Those are probably by far my favorite. I read a lot of cozy mysteries like right now, but I also like police procedurals. Really like Swedish crime fiction, Wallander, Martin Beck. I've read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. I'm starting the Norwegian series by Jo Nesbø, which is another police procedural fantasy. I think I've read all but the last book in Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. Neil Gaiman is another author I really enjoy. Jim Butcher and the Harry Dresden series. I started his Cinderspire series this year. I've got Stephen Hawking's The Universe in a Nutshell. I've got, some science fiction over here, contemporary. I've got a lot of classics. Yeah, I think that covers my shelves. I hope that covers my shelves. I don't really want to turn my back on you to take a look. Historical romance. I love historical books. I'm really finding the time period around World War II is fascinating. I like a good Scottish kilt romance. God knows why, but everyone wants a Scotsman, right? Yeah, so that's kind of me in a book nutshell. I like young adult. I enjoy Harry Potter. I like Megan Spooner and Amy Kaufman's This Shattered World series, the Grisha series by Leigh Bardugo. I could go on. I hope that you enjoyed watching this. And I do hope that you found something that made you want to subscribe, maybe watch some more of my videos. I'm hoping to do, I guess my plan with this is to do 2 to 3 videos a week. I do read a lot of books, but I know you don't want reviews on the books that I read so much. So I'm going to try to pick out a few books that really gave an impact to me, or that I feel like I have something important to say about them, and I'll be doing book reviews, to be reads, book to be read, videos, book hauls, and probably the odd discussion, because there's always some sort of current affair topic that we want to talk about. And I'm hoping to find more of you that I want to follow, and I've already found several. You guys are amazing, and I hope that I can be half as interesting as all of you. So thank you for watching, and have a great day.